No human being can exist as a white person. That is colonial indoctrination. That is colonial indoctrination.
I agree with KRS-One on this topic. Calling European Americans white is part of colonial indoctrination. Calling European Americans white is part of the brainwash. Calling European Americans white is like calling them master. From my understanding, they forced our ancestors to call him master.
But you told me he was mine, master.
So back then, our ancestors really didn't know English language too well, so our ancestors may have not fully understood the ramifications of calling Caucasians master.
You understand the word continence?
Yes, sir.
You understand the word deduction?
Yes, sir, master. I understand.
So now that we know English a lot better, we know that Caucasian Americans, European Americans are not masters. So hopefully we can understand the reality and learn that European Americans are not the same color as the sun. White is the color of the sun. The sunlight is actually white. It's a white light from the sun that shines on the earth. Calling European Americans white is part of mental slavery. Calling European Americans white is part of slavery's brainwash. European Americans are not the same color as the sun.
Why do you call yourselves white? You people are more pink than white.
All of humanity is different shades of brown. White people are actually beige.
I agree with KRS-One on this topic. The fact of the matter is, Caucasians are not white and we are not black. That's an illusion. That's a false image.
Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
From my understanding, our slavery and oppression came after we started calling ourselves black. Our slavery and oppression came after we started calling Europeans white. From my understanding, when we started calling Europeans white, which is the same color as the sun and the clouds in the sky, that was the beginning of our oppression.
The whites are magicians, Saka. They work with illusion. They have taught us to live in reality.
There's no such thing as white people. That's why there's no such thing as white supremacy.
Africans have benefited from their experience with white supremacy.
Yes, there's Caucasian races, American races. And the Caucasian races and American races is much more easy to overcome than white supremacy. White supremacy, you're indirectly calling a racist person supreme. But in American races, you can much more easily overcome a Caucasian races and American races. It's just word semantics. Decode the word semantics. Don't let our children's minds get caught up in word semantics. I have never saw a white man a day in my life. I have never saw a white woman a day in my life. I've never saw a white boy, white girl. White people do not exist. It's all make-believe. It's all illusion and part of a false image.
Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
Just break the illusion. You break the illusion, you break their power. Their power is an illusion, and if the majority of us is caught up in their illusionary world, if the majority of our women are caught up in their illusionary world, they're going to dominate. They're going to dominate the situation in their illusionary world.
Yeah, with this fantasy.
With this fantasy. That's
these
what it is.
fairy tales.
That's the proper word.
Fantasies.
Fantasy.
These illusions of fantasies got some of the most gorgeous women in the world feeling insecure about their natural God-given beauty. And like I said, this is an issue that affects brown-skinned, woolly-haired people worldwide. You know, it's just not an American issue. It's the same issue in the West Indian, Caribbean islands. It's the same issue in parts of Central America.
The question on the table is, in what ways does slavery still affect the Jamaican society today? One of the major ways is still the power differential between class and color. We talk a lot about people and we say, why watch them bleach themselves? Them not love themselves. Why them bleach themselves? And I say we have to get to the real issue because nobody know the things when I help where them not think are gonna be positive. If when me a bleach, it not get me nowhere further than when me never bleach. People not gonna just wholesale, just a bleach. Yeah. So we have to ask ourselves in this society, what is it about color that we still use?
You write about another area where African Americans feel inferior, about how they look, that they've been conditioned to believe that Caucasian physical features are attractive.
What's the solution to stop all this confusion? What's the solution to stop all this confusion?
On the topic of overcoming inferiority complex about skin color, the solution for us brown-skinned, woolly-haired people, let's teach our children the factual truth of Caucasian skin color, European American skin color. Let's teach our children the factual truth.
White people are actually beige.
Let's teach our children the factual truth of the color of their skin. Whether you want to call it beige, whether you want to call it pink, let's teach them the factual truth. From my understanding, this is how our indigenous ancestors looked at things before slavery. They looked at things factually. They looked at things as it really was.
You people are more pink than white.
When it comes to European Americans and Caucasians, their skin color is within us. We have that same skin color within us. Whether you want to call it beige or pink, that beige or pink skin color is within or underneath our brown skin color. If you look under your nails, you will see the skin color of Caucasians. If you look under your nails, you will see the skin color of Caucasians, Chinese people, Latinos, and Arabs.
The palms of our hands are the complexion of all white people.
I think it would benefit us to teach our children that their skin, whether you want to call it pink, beige, or flesh tone, their skin color is within or underneath our brown color. And you can see it all the time with people with vitiligo. I want to give respect and salute people born with vitiligo or people that have vitiligo and albinos, especially people with severe cases of vitiligo. I want to salute them and give respect because the way I see it, you would have to be a very strong person to walk through this life with vitiligo or albino or any other skin condition. From my understanding, vitiligo and albinos is the beginning of Caucasians, the beginning of the original Caucasian skin color. With all due respect to Caucasians, from my understanding, this is where the original Caucasians came from. They came from brown-skinned people with vitiligo and albino. This is the way our children will overcome inferiority complex as far as skin color. Our children have to understand that European color, Chinese color, Latino color, Arab color is underneath our brown. It's within our brown. If you look under your nails, you will see the skin color of Caucasians. If you look under your nails, you will see the skin color of Caucasians, Chinese, Latinos, and Arabs.
The soles of our feet and the palm of our hand are the complexions of white people.
They came out of us when we went into the Ice Age. And they depigmented themselves. What came up underneath them was something known as the Worm II Ice Age. It lasted from about maybe 60,000 to about maybe 20,000 years before the Christian era.
Now maybe these brown skin straight hair albinos and brown skin straight hair people with vitiligo, maybe they was treated harshly, persecuted, and casted out into the mountains, and maybe they went through hard times or whatever they went through. Maybe it was an ice age or whatever harsh situations they had to endure. But regardless to how their skin color came into existence, let's just teach the youngsters and our families the factual truth of their skin color. Their skin color is beige, pink. This is the way that we overcome inferiority complex by teaching our children the factual color of Caucasians. They are beige, they're pink, or flesh tone, or whatever. Let's teach our women and children to identify them as they really are, respectfully.
Beige American.
Stop teaching our children that they're white people. There's no such thing as white people. The only white being I see up in the sky is the sun. The sun is white.
Ask anybody what color the sun is, and they'll tell you that it's yellow. Or they'll probably look at you like you're spaced out. But the truth about the sun is that it's not yellow at all. The actual, factual, natural color of the sun is white. So why does the sun appear to be yellow? Well, let's think about this. The sun emits the visible spectrum of light. That's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, all of those colors. Now to us, when you combine all of those colors together, it appears to be white. As white light from the sun enters the Earth's atmosphere, some of the colors get scattered. The colors that get scattered are blue and violet, and that's why our sky appears to be blue. Now the Earth's atmosphere, the giant Instagram filter, what it basically does is it's subtracting violet and blue from the white light. And when you subtract those colors from white, you get that yellowy, orange fireball color that we're used to seeing in our sky. And that's the reason why the sun appears to be yellow. But don't forget, the actual, natural, factual color of the sun is white.
We can now form a picture of how the pyramid would have looked on the day it was completed. A perfect triangle of white, dominating the horizon and reflecting the powerful Egyptian sun with a dazzling glare.
The white light from the sun is powerful. Some of our indigenous cultures looked at the sun as a deity, looked at the sun as a god, but the sun is a white light, so that's something to think about. In nature, white is associated with things that's out of your reach. White is associated with the sun. White is associated with the clouds in the sky.
So the sun emits all of the colors in the visible spectrum. Now, when you combine all of those colors, you get white. So let's start with the light first, right? So the sun emitting white light, if you will. Now the clouds, they are made up of tiny round water droplets, very, very, very small water droplets. Now when that sunlight, that white sunlight, passes through those tiny droplets, they are scattered in all directions. So let's shrink that back down there into the clouds. So when you get sunlight, remember all the colors of the visible spectrum, which is white, they hit the water droplets in the cloud and they're scattered in all directions, and that's why clouds are white.
White is associated with the clouds in the sky. White is associated with the sun. In nature, white is associated with things that's over your head, not out of your reach. So calling European Americans white is a totally psychological thing.
Our problem is totally mental.
The white light from the sun is powerful. I think we're underestimating how powerful things manifest in white in nature. White in nature. And I'm not talking about white bread and white rice. Those are man-made products. I'm talking about in nature. White. We literally see white falling from the skies during the winter when it's time for the earth to regenerate itself. From my understanding, back in the scripture, back in the days, they used to call the sky heaven.
Ha-Shemayim is the word shamayim, preceded by the prefix ha, meaning the Shemayim. Shemayim is usually translated as heaven or heavens. In my translation, I use the word skies. Skies. That's a little more concrete than heaven or heavens. Shemayim. That's heaven of heaven. Heaven of heaven, or sky of sky.
So we literally see white falling out the skies, out the heavens. So that's something to think about. The sun gives off a white light. So we see in nature, powerful things manifest in white. And by calling Caucasian Americans the white man, you're putting them on a pedestal, whether you realize it or not. By calling Caucasians the white man, it's like you're making them a god on earth. It's like you're making them untouchable. It's like you putting them over your head and out of your reach. Psychologically and subliminally, one of the worst things we could possibly teach our children is the white man up there in Europe. White is associated with things like the clouds in the sky that's over your head.
Man, they looking down on us, man.
White is associated with things like the sun in the sky that's over your head.
To the elite powers.
For so long, some of us have been looking at white as weak. Some of us, we heard it said that white is recessive, but it's not that white is recessive. It's the beige skin that's recessive. It's the pink skin that's recessive. The pinkish beige color skin that's recessive. For so long, we've been trying to demean white, belittle white, and black is supreme. And no, in nature, very powerful things manifest in white. Hopefully, we can start seeing that, understanding that, and bear witness to that. And then on the next level, understand that white light of the sun is within us. The white light of the sun is within all of us.
Because we all are, by the way, pieces of the sun encapsulated in this temple.
What the teacher said makes so much sense. The teacher said we all are pieces of the sun encapsulated in this temple. If we all are pieces of the sun and the sun is white, then that might probably explain why the mother's breast milk is white or whitish. The breast milk of a healthy mother is white or whitish.
Because we all are, by the way, pieces of the sun encapsulated in this temple.
If we all are pieces of the sun and the sun is white, then that might probably explain why the human semen, sperm, is white or whitish. The semen, sperm of a healthy male is white or whitish.
Because we all are, by the way, pieces of the sun encapsulated in this temple.
If we all are pieces of the sun and the sun is white, then that might probably explain why the human eyes are white. From my understanding, today's science call the white of the eyes the sclera. And of course, the white of the eyes get discolored over time and age and unhealthiness, but the healthy human eyes are white.
Because we all are, by the way, pieces of the sun encapsulated in this temple.
If we all are pieces of the sun and the sun is white, then that's even more reason to stop associating European Americans with the same color of the sun.